Bloody Disgusting tells us about how a Scream 5 is currently in the works, and we're going to be going over all of the little details about this story right now. Hello everybody, and welcome back to another movie news video. My name is Joker, and today we're talking about one of my most beloved franchises of all time, Scream. Scream has been a staple in the slasher franchise for years and is going to stay there for quite some time. The ghost-faced mask has become the most iconic thing in almost any movie ever. And just look at it. It's amazing. It's perfect. It's simple. I love it. And it also terrified me as a child. I don't know what it was, but growing up around the time when I was able to comprehend what was going on around me, I was about the year 2000, so Scream 3 was coming out. So all of the promotional stuff just terrified me. I don't know what it was. I guess the design of the mask just did not sit well with me as a kid, and it freaked me out. And because of this, my mom tried to avoid it and protect me and be a good mom. Thank you, Mom. But I did go against your wishes and watch them anyway, and what happened? Well, I didn't turn into a psycho killer like I'm assuming she thought would happen, but instead I came to love this franchise for what it was, which was a really damn good story. So that's why when the announcement of Scream 4 happened, I was just through the roof excited. I was like, a new Scream that I can actually see in theaters and be there in the present time when it happens? Absolutely. I had loved the first three watching them when I was growing up, now after I waited a while to watch them, but it was the fact that they happened so long ago and I was like, damn, I can't see where this is going to go from here because this is just supposed to be a trilogy of movies and that was it. Then Scream 4 happens and woo, we're all happy. It wasn't the best movie, but I mean, hey, it was something, and for me being so for me at the time, it was 2011, so I was about 14 or 15 at the time, I was just really excited to be able to see the movie. And with that came talks of Scream 5 and Scream 6, which sadly were canceled after Wes Craven's passing in 2015. There was a big hiatus between the movies because the Scream 4 just did not make the money, and they did not know if they were going to be able to keep going with the story or not, so it just decided to stop. But now, thanks to Bloody Disgusting, they've reported that Scream 5 might possibly be happening. So this news is coming from Bloody Disgusting, a website that is known for all of its articles on horror movies and all the horror movie news out in the world. They are always on it. And this article on their website comes from Brad Miska, so thank you so much. This article is amazing. I'm going to leave it down in the description below so you guys can go check that out. But Bloody Disgusting has reported that Gary Barber's Spyglass Media Group has acquired the rights to the franchise, and they are currently developing the next Scream. And fun enough, with Dimension Films, they're also working on the next Hellraiser. So we got two new franchise reboots coming out. That's kind of neat. Hearing this has me excited, though. Spyglass Media Group used to be Spyglass Entertainment, and they've produced so many different films over the years, such as Shutter Island, The Sixth Sense, and even J.J. Abrams' Star Trek. So I'd say they have a pretty good track record, and there's several other movies to go along with that. But just hearing that, so you know, it's a company we know, it's a company we understand, I think. So originally, rumors were going on that Blumhouse was actually going to be able to get the rights to the Scream franchise and reboot the whole series as a whole. Blumhouse has been doing really well with all of their horror stuff recently, and they've just been knocking everything out of the park. So it is a bit of a surprise to me that Spyglass is the one that acquired the rights, but it's because it was tied into Dimension Films already, so that's how they were easily able to acquire the rights. But that's pretty much all the news we have on this. This is just fresh news. This came out 2 days ago, and it's just that they have the rights to it, and they're going to be working on the next one. That's all we have, and we don't know what's coming after that. But it does lead into speculation, and we all know how much I love to speculate on a lot of these films, and especially when it's the Scream franchise, where it's so tight and niche that, you know, you can't really spread out everywhere like you can in the Star Wars universe and go over here to Legends and over here to 20,000 years before the events of the movie or something like that. It's all within the same time frame, and it's all within the small same cast. Which is a good point. What's this movie going to be looking like? Is this going to be a new story, or is this going to be a direct sequel to Scream 4? They set it up so Scream 4 could technically have a continuation of it, you know. We're still unaware if Hayden Panettiera's character Kirby actually made it after being stabbed by Charlie in the back of the house. There's some rumors that she possibly still survived. We don't know, and I don't know if we're going to be able to see that. If this is a continuation of that and she wants to come back for it, I'm all for it. But I really don't think they're going to go that path. I think this will be a true reboot, and they're just going to give a fresh take on the story. But even then, any movie reboot is no stranger to cameo appearances, so could we possibly seeing any of the original cast? Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox, or David Arquette? I know they've all talked over the years about wanting to come back and saying that they would come back, and then some of them saying it would depend on how much money they're offering me, and I don't know if the story is going to be good. There's a lot of yes and no, but I think if the story was just right and maybe the pay was just right, they would probably come back for some form of a cameo. Now, one of the big things for me is, will this make up for the TV show that we got? Because all in all, it wasn't good. And sure, I mean, I do have that mask as well because I'm a lover of the Scream series as a whole. But there was so many issues with the TV series that it just made no sense. I mean, they had something going with the first 2 seasons. They dug themselves into a giant plot hole, so they had to reboot the actual TV series. So season 3 was a completely new cast, completely new concept, and they brought back the original Ghostface mask. But the season 3 was a train wreck, honestly. It was so bad. The actual story behind what was happening was really just dumb, and I was not a fan of it at all. So I'm hoping with a new movie we can go back to what Scream used to be originally and just powerhouse everything. Because as of right now, the 4 Scream movies are all still canon in their world, and the Scream TV series I suppose is canon, but it takes on its own mythology. So it is very separate from the movies. They are 2 separate things with the same kind of just idealistic ways about them. So I don't think they're connected in any way, even though Scream Season 3 also uses the original Ghostface mask, but I don't think they're correlated at all. But if Scream 5 is to happen, I don't think they're actually going to tie in anything from the TV series at all. I think they're just going to leave that over where it is, and they're going to stick with the 4 movies they have and keep moving forward, unless, of course, it is a true reboot. But the big question is, who's going to be behind the movie? Who's going to be directing it? Who's going to be writing it? What's the cast going to look like? We don't know. There's none of that. I would hope that Kevin Williamson would come back to write a Scream 5 script. As some of you know, Kevin Williamson came in and wrote the scripts for Scream 1, 2, and 4, but gave up on Scream 3 for a different project. So instead, it was given to Aaron Kruger, which is why Scream 3 stands out tremendously against 1, 2, and 4. So getting him to come back and actually write Scream 5 and possibly more after that would be fantastic, as the original idea, I'm pretty sure, was for him to write Scream 5 and Scream 6. But after his passing, they figured that it wouldn't be best to keep working on the movie, so they just set it aside. So maybe he won't come back. Who knows? But in a perfect world, I would say if you got Kevin Williamson to write it and you got so many directors to pick from, honestly, Jordan Peele has been doing some fantastic stuff in the horror franchise, as my roommate Alec constantly tells me, and he's absolutely right. So Jordan Peele would be a great bet for this. I'd be interested to see what James Wan could do with this. He was doing great things with the Conjuring franchise, as well as David Sandberg, who was doing the Annabelle spinoffs for the Conjuring franchise, and he even did Shazam, which isn't horror related, but it was still a good movie. So you've got options out there, and I guarantee they're probably going to look into some of these options before actually considering where the movie's going to go and how it's all going to function. So there's so many options out there, and I can't wait to see what they actually start saying. The first thing we're going to get is the director, and it's just going to go from there. You're going to know exactly how this movie will play out based on who the director is going to be. But what kind of story? What is it going to be? I know I've already talked about it. Is it going to be a sequel or a reboot? But here's some theories. This is theory time. What could we see in a Scream 5? Could they stick with the original idea? Could they go to a complete reboot? What are your theories? Do you have a theory of what Scream 5 is going to be? Let me know in the comments down below. Let's talk about this. What would you like to see happen? Personally, I wonder if they could go back to the original idea for Scream 3, which was have Matthew Lillard, who played Stu Macher in Scream 1, come back and play his twin brother wanting revenge on Sidney. That was originally what Scream 3 was supposed to be, but it got changed around, and then Aaron Kruger wrote the script instead. There's also talks that it was actually supposed to be just Stu Macher as himself, and he survived having the TV being dropped on his head by Sidney in the end of Scream 1. Having Matthew Lillard come back would honestly be amazing. He was great in the first movie, and seeing him come back as either himself that survived or his twin brother could be an interesting story. It would be a little overplayed, as everything seems to be really close, knit-tuck family stuff, because you had Billy Loomis in Scream 1, and then his mom in Scream 2, and then Sidney's half-brother, Roman Bridger in 3, which way out of left field and made no sense, and then her cousin in Scream 4. So it's all very close family stuff. So it would not surprise me if they wanted to go that route and bring back Stu Macher or his brother for this movie. But let me know in the comments down below, what do you think of that theory? Is that something you'd want to see? Do you think it's been overplayed too much and they should just not do that and they could come up with a completely original idea, possibly? Let me know in the comments down below. I want to talk about it. But that is literally all we have on this news of the new Scream movie being made. At least we know it's confirmed that it's being made. That's awesome. It's not just rumors, and this is actually going to be constantly worked on in the coming years. Who knows when this is going to be released? My best bet would probably be like 2023. That's just a random guess at the closest time we could possibly get it. But what do you guys think? Do you like the idea of a new Scream movie coming out under Spyglass Media Group? Are you a fan of the series? Were you not a big fan of the series? Do you want there to be more movies, or do you think they should just let it be and they've done enough damage already? Let me know in the comments down below. I want to talk about it. But until we get any more news on this new Scream franchise, that is going to be it for this video, guys. Remember, if you like what you saw, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know in the comments down below if you want to see more movie news videos or if you'd like to see anything else. But until then, and as always, I will see you guys next time.